Previously on
Protect the princess!
Are you ready, Mr. Foster?
I am.
Okay, then just bear with me for a moment. Selphine presses her right index and middle finger together and lightly touched Albus's forehead. Are you, going into his mind right now, Selphine? What? Are you okay, Selphine? Princess? You need not tense up your facial muscles, so, relax and, cast with confidence, princess.
You...
Don't worry, Mr. Foster. I've only warmed up my body by initiating the incantation interval.
Lovely, yeah.
Here we go. Ritana! Go, princess!
What?
Whoa!
Wait, huh? Yowie! Phew. Somebody must have upset the foreman today. He was driving us much harder than usual.
I'll tell ya, Albas, working a coal mine ain't a job for the living. People shouldn't stick their necks out for a few stupid stones.
It barely pays enough to put food on the table either.
I feel nothing but seething sore pain.
Regardless of our grips, we should be grateful to even have employment. Cadia's heading into a downward trend. Day by day. Yeah. And this year's winter is supposed to be even worse than the past.
I guess we better count our fortunes then, Albus. At least we're stifling and scorching when we're working our butts off.
Agreed, yeah.
Even if I could afford an education, I don't think I'd be able to sit still for a single minute. I learn best when I'm on my toes, now say. Who needs school, anywho? We're doing just fine on our own, Albus.
I suppose we are.
That reminds me. Get a good grander at this, Albus.
Huh? Sid? Is that what I think it is?
You betcha. It's a sediment stone. It's a pretty cool kind, I'm saying, but it's got some colored matter infused within.
Where did you find this?
Inside a damn coal mine that we work every day, Albus. I think it might actually be a man of mine.
Sid, what are you going to do with it? You're not thinking of selling it, are you? Don't you know how Cadians feel about mana crafters? If you're caught selling that stone, they'll throw you in prison.
Have some faith, Albus. I wouldn't sell this precious sample, no. It has too much value as research material.
Research?
I know you won't snitch on me, boy, but to tell you the truth, this ain't the first sediment stone I found in a coal mine. The first sediment stone I found was like this, was no bigger than a speck. The further I dug into that area, the more sediment stones I kept unearthing, like gems. I finally struck close to those sediment stones.
Sid, have you been sneaking them out of the coal mine?
Hear me out first, Albus. I got something of great interest to show you later. Stop by my laboratory in 1 hour or 2.
What laboratory? Do you mean your house?
I'm calling it a laboratory, right? And I wish you'd call it the same too, Albus. Does the phrase "let's meet at my place" still a sense of urgency or mistake? I think not. Albie, oh boy.
Let's stop trying to talk like an old foggy Sid. God, you need ears, wrinkles, and a lot of white hair first.
Just stop by later, damn!
But why don't I just go over there right now?
Here's the thing,
Huh?
It's, you know, when my mom passed away, Albie, I thought I'd leave her a flower or two on her grave.
It's already the first anniversary. Times flies, huh?
Anyways, just meet me at my laboratory in an hour or two, alright? I'll be back around then.
Years after Sid shared his secret with me, we began experimenting with his countless sediment stones in order to find a way to convert the colored mana into purified mana. Even though Sid's father was one rotten bastard, Sid inherited his reckless penchant to dive headfirst into something that piqued his interest. We shared many of those reckless experiments from the comfort of his laboratory. We devoted our youth to researching mana, as if we were driven by some sort invisible force for a better future. There were times when experiments were wonderful successes, and times when we regretted conducting them. One of those regrets resulted in self-inflicted mana shock syndrome, and caused Sid to temporarily lose all motor functions in his left arm. What? But one day, we finally succeeded in answering the big question. We had successfully converted colored mana into purified mana. We noted our procedures. We performed the experiment. We made the discovery of the century, and word of our success spread like wildfire throughout the outer pole. We painted our procedure, and we were ready to sell the untapped energies into homes throughout the continent. But we lacked one crucial component to spreading the fruits of our labor. Why, Sid? Tell me why we bother wasting away our years on color mana conversion if we're not going to sell it. We need investors to spread our groundbreaking research around the outer pole, Sid.
We can't even think about expanding until we figure out how to get a consistent and stable output of purified mana out of these filters. Albus? If a single sediment stone has a low concentration of colored mana, the energy output through the filter will be equally low. We need to make sure that all sediment stones contain a proportional amount and contain enough colored mana within the outperform a burning candle. Our research is riding on drawing out colored mana from sediment stone, Albus.
I'm not talking about the long term yet, Sid. We need to think about now and getting funding in order to expand and perfect our research, you know?
Albus, have you heard of electricity before?
Electricity? Oh, the electricity generated from the lightning bolts? If I recall, I heard that someone from the third sector was trying to harness the very same power?
That's right.
But that research is still very much in its infancy and nowhere near ready to be implemented beyond a laboratory setting. I hear the nature of the research is also quite hazardous as well. There's too much uncertainty surrounding the subject. It's under much scrutiny by the boards of academics, particularly on the outlook of immediate implementation.
Academics schmacademics, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe a word they breathe. If I didn't stumble upon that treasure trove of sediment stone all those years ago, I would have probably pursued the study of electricity as well. Besides, Albus, who's to say that the nature of our research isn't hazardous? Heck, I bet lightning's a much better playmate than natural mana. Depending on the day, lightning might kill you or spare you.
But why would you say that?
My left arm's been acting up again, Lady Albie.
Do you feel any intense pain still?
It's not the pain that's getting at me. If I had to describe it, it feels like the flesh on my arm is slowly melting off the bone. Like it's being drenched in acid.
That's can't be right. Has it been that way since you regained control over it?
No. It was all good until recently, Albie. I didn't say nothing at first since it never got in the way of our research and work, but it's been hard to ignore lately.
What could be causing it?
I ain't sure, Albie, but for all of our breakthroughs, and research in all forms of mana, we still know jack squat about the effects on human body.
We continue our research into solving the proportional division that we observed during purified mana conversions, and eventually discovered a solution. It wasn't long before we chanced upon a group of investors who were genuinely interested in our research. We made it through life with dumb luck, I always said. But Sid always countered with,
"There ain't no luck out there that's dumb enough to help our sorry butts out. Yeah, we made this happen, Albie."
Years passed after our newfound success. Our research was being applied in a real-world scenario, and we both continued to constantly improve on our foundation. In time, those very same investors helped us immensely in the establishment of Ziva's enterprise. It was around then when Sid met a girl who had just moved into Cadia. Her name was Eline Klaslowy. Yeah, sure. Eline had unnaturally beautiful eyes of emerald, glistening pearly white skin, and a wonderfully sweet smile. She wouldn't take any sass from a single person, was overly outspoken, and also strong-willed. But she, like Sid's mother, was fragile from birth. Her only wish in the world was to do something beneficial not just for Cadia or the Outer Pole, but for the whole world. She was a darling woman, if I've ever met one. Her presence alone would give cheers and joy to people around her. Even people with the toughest exterior would just melt into a puddle at the sound of her sweet voice. But as far as the general populace was concerned, Eline Klaslowy was a goddess in the guise of an angel. And all the while, Ziva's enterprise was growing substantially. But we weren't driven by profit. We did our damnedest to save lives during our first winter in Cadia. It made sure that our services was affordable enough to meet that end. Our consumer base wasn't as vast as we expected, but by the end of the harsh winter, almost every one of our customers survives. We left our mark in Cadia in that way. As we bathed into the fame and glory, being hailed as the quellers of the cold, Sid and Eline's first child was born. Rudo. I never knew a more intelligent child in my life. Nurtured by Eline's warmth and gifted with Sid's brilliance, Rudo was raised with the best of both worlds. We all lived such happy days, painted with the promise of even better days. If only we had kept our eyes peeled over the horizon and not being blinded by our bountiful boons, so we wouldn't notice the emergence of the greatest threat to our existence. Sid, Eli, did you hear yet? We have competition. Havitz Corporation.
Havitz? Ain't that the name of the Nimrod that tried to tame lightning before tossing it all out in the favor of mana? What was Eli's voice?
I heard about them, but just the rumors.
The rumors are true, Eli. They're using the filter that Sid patented to convert color mana into purified mana. Shall we pursue litigation for copyright infringements?
Nah, leave it to me. Those filters are relics. As far as I'm concerned, I ain't got no use for them anymore anyways.
But dear, doesn't the fact that they're using your filters mean that they're gunning for you?
Havitz must feel bitter and resentful for this failed research into harnessing lightning, so he's lashing at you. His competition.
Ha! Sounds like you run-of-the-mill short-sighted bastard. He could have stuck to what he put his name and faith in and continued his research, but instead, he's taking a pot shot at our success by diving headfirst into an already full pool. And think the bastard has the nerve to use this direct competitor's inventions, to find his corporation, and compete with the tried and true enterprise.
When you put it that way, I must give him credit for his complete disregard for the concept of shame. Although his blind recklessness does remind me of a certain someone.
Say what, Albie? I may be a reckless risk-taker, but at least my will of innovation hasn't run dry enough to resort to thieving.
Touché. You may be correct to dismiss the tribal matter of the absolute mana filters. They might just fade out of existence, if their aim is to topple us with our older filters.
Nobody knows what the future holds, Albas.
Huh?
We're up against the shameless bastards who use his competition-owned products against them. While Havis will never be capable of innovating ever again, don't expect them to die out by the time winter's around. Huh? Eli, what's the matter, girl? You look pale.
Sid, I can't explain why, but I just have a bad feeling.
What there's to feel bad about?
Don't you think that our lives have been going a little too smoothly? Nothing bad has happened to any of us or your company since its establishment. I just feel like this can't be coincidence.
Come on, Eli! Since when did you turn into such a superstitious worrywart? Neither Albus nor myself had done anything to warm any worries. We never stole anything, killed anyone, or cursed a single soul. We owe nothing to you, anyone.
I suppose so.
Years after making this statement, sweet darling Eli gave birth to her daughter, Rune. That's when our fortunes start turning on us. Hive's expansion throughout the outer pole exploded, rivaling our company's size within a matter of years. When it came to the know-how of mana, its workings, or our advanced research, there was absolutely no compare. And yet, for some inexplicable reason, they managed to become a real threat to our existence. Absolutely nobody, could have foreseen their explosive growth. With availability of purified mana for consumers' use from an entity that knows as much about it as it does lightning, the threat of misuse became a niggling fear. As with the experiment that had gone awry in our youth, causing Sid to experience chronic episode of pain, mana had once again poised itself against us and the rest of the inhabitants of the outer pole. We knew little about the effects of natural mana on the human body, aside from mana shock syndrome, and so Sid took precautionary action. Sid convinced our longtime investors to invest a grand sum into a medical field, with a little persuasion to the company's deep-pocketed investors, in order to advance medical research into the profound effect of mana on the human body. Sid, who was now leading medical research, had appointed Eli as the acting CEO of Zivit Enterprise, and hired physicians in all relevant field of his newest addition to the company, the Zivit's Medica Group. The goal of this group would be to attend and serve as the primary care of Zivit's Enterprise's mana mine workers, or laborers. Zivit's Enterprise invested heavily in training procedures and preparatory field cases. However, it would be a good deal of time before any of these healthcare workers would even begin caring for mana mine laborers or sediment stones classifiers. Unlike Hevit's corporation, we sought to retain and look after the health of each and every one of our laborers and workers. They were not expendable, unlike the workers being exploited by our competition. Their method of exploration, while completely ignoring the safety and well-being of their worker, was simple. They employed an immunostimulant known as Process 1 or P1, which contains antibodies to make the user more resistant to the effect of the color mana on the body, allowing them to work through the day and night. The user, who were offered to incentive on permanent employment, willingly allowed themselves to be injected with regular dose of P1, and would henceforth be known as subjects. Subjects were not only granted with the benefit of immunity to lesser degrees of mana shock syndrome, their bodies were also observed to feature an abnormal increase in muscle mass, as well as bone structure growth, and an additional boost in energy. So it's kind of like a intense steroid. Yeah, with immunity. Yeah. Hybis capitalized on these benefits and employed a large force to constitute the grand majority of their workforce. In a time where work was scarce, and the guard majority of the outer pole was working class, they all flocked over to Hivitz. They had a firm grasp over the hearts of the people, despite our best effort to appeal the long-term healthcare provisions for our workers. This was when I saw the specter of Sid's father arise and sway the populace with his unsustainable get-rich-quick creed.
Hey,
That was horrendous.
tell me about it.
I never thought the excessive use of P1 would lead to such a sickening sight.
What can one expect from a mind freed of natural fatigue? They become withered shadow of their former selves. Likely prolonged ingestion of P1 caused the user to build up a tolerance to its mana immunity properties until it became ineffective against mana shock. Hivitz flooded a local Albas with all of their permanent employees who had succumbed to it. They had to turn away most of the incoming afflicted to a church in the neighboring town.
Oh, the irony, bruh.
That's not all I have to report, Sid. We have another problem. When Eli, the medical programs director, and myself went to the Abbey and made our proposal to build a new Zivas medical hospital for general care in the area,
That fat friar gave you the stink eye, didn't they?
they assailed us with rather abhorrent, unbecoming things in the names of the Abbey's apostle. The friars blamed us for the calamity that befell the afflicted there, cursing us the committing sacrilege against their mana deities. Even the abbot accused us for being blinded by our pursuit to be better people's lives, and the deaths of Hivitz workers were retribution for our sinful acts.
Sin skims.
I cannot discern the veracity of the headed priest's allegations, but I am of the opinion that as of this moment, our only prerogative is to put our plans for constructing a new hospital in that town in action.
Why doesn't the Canadian government outlaw the application of P1 for human trial altogether? It would spare all those poor people from suffering so. Sid, if you could convince the board of academics of P1's danger, then maybe they could convince the government.
I doubt that, dear.
Why, Sid? People are dying. Our people.
Well, I guess it's had something to do with the obtained production of P1 on the outer pole. Now, producing P1 takes a lot of know-how, and can only be done by the people who know how to extract color mana through mechanical means. Otherwise, there's no other means of extraction available to us. So, here's my take on the whole situation. Despite its harmful side effect, the Canadian government can't afford to outlaw P1. Not when they're secretly involved with the exploration of our only domestic product, second to coal. They're in cahoots with Hivitz, and probably the board of academics for that matter.
What?
Why would they do that?
Isn't it strange how Hivitz workers suddenly shriveled up even though they're consistently administered P1? A single dose should keep them going for an entire day, Well, I figured that before Hivitz given another dose, they probably extract whatever's left, like how Mana Crafter extracts purified mana. They could probably synthesize even more P1 from daily extractions, whatever they could be using all these immunostimulants for, though, is anyone's guess. They could use it to give birth to enhance the aggression of their army, or they could even weaponize the damn drug.
No.
That's just my take on this dread mess, my dear. I don't have a lick of evidence to back up my claims.
Historically, the worse the situation is, the higher the likelihood your predictions are correct. Sid, evidence or no evidence?
Let's leave this supposition and a trend alone for now, Albie. It's time we get back to the topic at hand. On the issue of forcing our expansion and initiating the construction of the new Zivas Medical Hospital, I completely share your sentiment.
But Sid, you're forgetting about the perception of the public. When it comes to houses of worship, they rather seek salvation than have their lives spared by doctors. Assuming that the current scenario will be in play, even if you pull through and build a new hospital, the chances that they choose to go to Zivas Medica over on overcrowded Albas are slim.
You have a point, but why? Why did we do to deserve to be brushed aside and distrusted so? If anything, we helped save lives during our first year as a company. Don't people remember that awful winter?
If I had to guess, Sid, the fact that we're a private and for-profit company, much like our competition, automatically makes us less trustworthy than an abbey.
I'm not opposed to the idea of building a hospital, but given our present circumstances, there's very little point and purpose.
What then? What can we do?
Sid, I have an idea.
What is it?
Your theory about the Acadian government being aligned with Hybus got me thinking. Why don't we just align ourselves with the Abbey? That way, we could pave the way for the new hospital with their full support.
Come again?
Well, we'll have to invest in the Abbey first. Perhaps we can purchase new furnishing and even renovate the outdated architecture. We could even name the new hospital after the Abbey. And in exchange, the Zivas Medical Group will serve as the hospital's administrators. This arrangement would allow Zivit Enterprise to retain full ownership of the hospital in exchange for a few concessions.
Impressive.
The clergy will regain region only in name, while their gods govern from above.
Hold on for a second, my dear. Now your plot is very grand and has left me at a loss for words. But why would it compel them to want to work with us? They clearly despise everything we represent and stand for.
We can do something about that.
We can?
A few days ago, I heard about the passing of several of the Abbey sisters after being infected with mana shock by the afflicted they attempt to save. The souls in their cares are crazed and violent and need to be restrained in order to administer treatment. Several sisters died recently because of this. With care and compassion as their only weapon, they tried to reach out to the victims. They did everything they could to provide adequate care to the subjects, absolutely everything in their power. I propose that the next stage of the Absolute Obedience Automata project be decided, or dedicated, to the memory of the Abbey's fallen sisters. We should reprogram the automata to prioritize supporting the Abbey sister in their lines of work and lower the priority of mana dowsing. If at all possible, the exterior features should appear more human as well. They will be assigned to guard and protect the sisters from any, in their case, who exhibits severe infectious symptoms stemming from mana shock and P1 field aggressions. Field aggressions.
Eli! That's a spectacular series of ideas. And it just might be within the realm of reasons. I'll draw up a new design incorporating these features and submit them to our partners for manufacturers.
There's a sort of poetic justice to all of this. We make a living selling our groundbreaking research, all of which is rooted in science, and yet we must now depend on theologians to survive.
Do contrasting ideologies really care any clout when both parties benefit from finding common grounds? Our prerogative now is to care for the victims afflicted with Manashek syndrome and to prevent any future cases from occurring.
Several days after our impromptu meeting, we all ventured within the confine of the abbey.
Venerable Abbot, we are in debt for being allowed an audience today.
Please, my child, I would have done anything for an opportunity to personally welcome the infamous agnostic of Zivit's enterprise. Now, Sid Zivit, speak your piece, whatever it is that you have to say, or be gone from this house of worship.
Yo, Eline, fuck this priest, let's go!